Have you ever watched those videos of the first time a person experiences something we all take for granted? Like those glasses that correct color blindness, or the cochlear implants that allow someone to hear for the first time. Imagine never hearing, and then suddenly there's a rush of sound, a new dimension of life, a whole new level of belonging to what everyone already experiences. And you know what happens almost every time in those videos? The person lights up and then crumbles into tears, overwhelmed with the newness and joy, sometimes even a little embarrassed. I get choked up just watching it. But maybe not every time. We've kind of gotten used to our marvelous technological solutions. There's always another video of something amazing. Imagine 2,000 years ago, though, when being deaf meant always missing out. No sign language, no accessibility standards. Then comes Jesus. The crowd begs him to do something. Like millions of YouTube viewers, the crowd is eager to see something amazing. But Jesus doesn't care what the crowd wants. He sees this man. He knows 2,000 years before implants and videos what it's like for a person to hear for the first time. It is immense. It is personal. It really ought to be private. So he takes him away from the gawking crowd to a place where he can experience this moment in its fullness, without the embarrassment of being a spectacle in that moment, to be liked and commented and shared. He preserves the intimacy of the moment, and that is so often the way of Jesus Christ: intimate, personal, genuine. And yet, this private moment has its place in the cosmic plan of salvation. It is shared with us now. And it directly fulfills a prophecy, the same prophecy we hear in our first reading, foretelling God bringing vindication and salvation to his people. By clearing the ears of the deaf, Jesus is revealing some of his identity, that he is not just the Messiah, but that he is God, the divine Son of the eternal Father. The God of the universe, beyond all space and time, made himself into a specific man at a single point in history where he healed people and spoke to them as individuals. The infinite power of the finger of God was wasted in the time it took for him to stick that finger in the ear of one deaf man. Why not snap his fingers and heal everyone all at once? Because our God is a Trinity, which means that at the heart of his identity is relationship, a personal and intimate exchange between the three divine persons who are yet one God. And that relationship has to be particular. All relationship is specific. For human beings with their bodies and limits, it is concrete, physical, and often a little gross. That's true with two ordinary people who love each other, and it's true of God's love for us. It might seem strange, yet we have the opportunity to receive the very body and blood of that same man on our tongues every Sunday, even every day. This particularity, this physical intimacy, is part of the scandal of God's love. The paradoxical dynamic between the personal intimacy of the miracle and the public proclamation of prophecy and salvation points us to a very important part of our own relationship with God and with the whole church. Though we have the worldwide organization with all of its money and power and publicity, God always sees each of us. The truth is that the sacraments and the scriptures do come to us through the institution of the church and the community, but God encounters each of us individually in that. Some of the most profound work we priests do is in the inefficient, time-consuming, and often tedious process of hearing confessions one at a time. The Eucharist is consecrated on a single altar, and we have to take the time to then distribute it to each person. Why not wave our hands and absolve everyone? Why not just make the Eucharist miraculously appear in your hands and save the time? Because we are human, and God loves us as humans. He became a human being in order to manifest that divine human love to us. So what does that mean? What do you do with that? Take care of your business. Do you want to fix the country? Then take care of your actual, physical, literal neighbors. Do you want to change the world? Go home and love your family. Do you want to save the church from all the mess? Then be a friend to the parishioner 2 pews over whose name you've never even heard. Your private prayer really does help the world. Your secret fasts and sacrifices really do benefit the whole church. Your hidden, intimate acts of kindness and charity to unimportant people are truly more important than clever media campaigns and pretty speeches. Jesus lived for 33 years, yet we know very, very few details from that time. You might only live 25 years and die in obscurity, and yet be holier and more effective than cardinals and popes at spreading the gospel. Do you want to be successful? Do you want to be happy? Then be holy. Be holy as a personal friend of Jesus Christ. Be holy as a faithful follower of the church, even when her leaders are not faithful. Be holy as a Christian who loves the person in front of them, not as an idea, but as a person with flesh and blood, hopes and fears, body and soul. That is the key to evangelization, to the Acts retreat, to my pastoral plan for the parish. Personal encounter. You are here. You have heard Jesus at least a little. But how many people in your family, how many in your workplace, how many in your circle of influence and interest are like this deaf man, totally unaware of the whole dimension of reality you and I take for granted in faith? Do you know what it's like to live in this world without Christ? Without the sound of hope, the vision of meaning that our faith gives us? Do you really want others to experience that dimension of reality? Maybe you can't literally stick a finger in their ear and give them their healing back physically, their hearing back. But perhaps you can do something just as uncomfortable and poke them with an honest interest in their faith or lack thereof. Don't do it publicly or in front of a camera. Identify one person in your life who needs to get a little closer to Christ, and then walk with them. Do it one-on-one, over time, without strings or expectations attached. Pray for that one person by name. Groan to God for them. Pray for them at least as often as you talk to them. The gospel ends with our crowd exclaiming, "He does all things well." He really does. But if there's no one to tell other people about it, if you don't tell the people in your life about all the things he has done well, how will they hear?